Our Region's Business is sponsored by PNC for the achiever in you. Our Region's Business. Innovation, transformation, momentum, improving our communities and driving technologies that will shape our region for generations. The collaboration that brings vitality, prosperity, and life to living. Stay with us for the coming half hour as we examine in depth our region's business. Now, here's your host, Bill Flanagan.
Today on Our Region's Business, energizing our economy by investing in innovation in communities. Plus, local employers are stepping up to the Green Workplace Challenge. But first, energy to the power of Pittsburgh. The Energy Alliance of Greater Pittsburgh has launched a new public awareness campaign to draw attention to the growth of the energy economy in our region, the impact it's having on job opportunities, and the skills gap that's growing in terms of finding people to fill all of those jobs. Last week at a meeting of the Allegheny Conference on Community Development, Bob Fri of the National Academy of Sciences addressed the Allegheny Conference and talked about the globe's growing demand for energy and what it means to places like our region. I talked with him about it before the event.
The United States really needs to modernize its whole energy system, and I think initiative at the local level is getting more done in many cases than national policy.
So are other countries out there ahead of us?
Well, other countries, particularly developing countries, are essentially building whole new energy infrastructures. As their population grows and as their wealth grows, they're building new power plants, they're developing different kinds of transportation systems. For example, China is building one new large coal plant a week.
A week?
And one new nuclear plant a month. And so when they're done doing that over the next couple of decades, they're going to have a very much more modern energy system than we do here in the United States.
You talk about falling behind on infrastructure. Reminds me a little bit of Pittsburgh. 30 years ago, we didn't keep up with investing in our industrial technology, and we paid a price for that. Is it the same in energy?
Yeah, and there are two reasons for us keeping up with it. One is the International Energy Agency estimates that over the next 20 years, the world will spend $16 trillion in developing new energy infrastructure, and we'd like a piece of that. But the other is, as the steel industry here in Pittsburgh, if your fundamental energy infrastructure isn't modern and competitive, your whole economy is less competitive. And so we need to modernize our energy infrastructure for that reason too.
$16 trillion. You're talking real money.
You bet it is. And in addition, that's the real money. And then there's the public benefit money of having a more efficient, cleaner energy system that we live with as we use more and more energy. So what's the impact on our region? Well, Jim Futrell's been taking a look at the state of our energy economy. He's Vice President of Market Research and Analysis with the Allegheny Conference on Community Development, which co-produces this program. Welcome back. Good to see you again.
Thanks, Bill.
A lot of good things happening in our economy lately. I noticed in the aggregate, we seem to be outperforming the national average pretty consistently these days.
Yeah, really, our job growth has been outperforming the U.S. and our benchmark regions for almost 3 years, with just a couple months here and there where we lagged slightly behind. But it's been a pretty consistent performance. And fortunately, unlike we've seen in past recessions, we seem to be coming out of it ahead of the U.S. and our benchmark regions.
And one of the reasons, I take it, that we're doing a little better these days is because of what's going on all around us when it comes to energy?
Exactly. What we have seen is that our core energy sector has experienced a faster growth rate. It did grow approximately 6% during the recession between 2007 and 2010, compared to a overall loss in employment in the region of about 2.5%. So, a lot of that is because of Marcellus Shale and the growth in those extraction-related industries, but we've also seen a lot of growth in the supply chain industries.
So that's it. First the drillers kind of came into the region, then their suppliers come into the region. I guess sooner or later their customers come into the region.
Well, and it even goes beyond that. We sit atop a natural resources base, strong in coal and natural gas. But in addition to that, we do have strengths in manufacturing components for coal and natural gas, but also transmission and distribution, our strength in nuclear, and some emerging areas of expertise in wind and solar.
Wow. Oh, so it's pretty impressive. What's all this add up to when you talk about the number of companies in the region and the number of jobs that are being created?
Well, there's approximately 750 companies in the region that compete somewhere in the energy sector. That goes from the companies that mine the coal to the engineering firms that design nuclear reactors and electrical systems and the infrastructure that our nation's energy sector needs. So it's a really diverse array of companies that are able to take advantage of that.
And they have an impact then on employment throughout the region.
Right. Roughly 40,000 people directly employed in the core energy sector. The components they buy and their consumer spending translates, it really has a strong multiplier. So in the end, the energy sector here in the region is supporting roughly 157,000 jobs.
Wow, over 150,000 jobs. And so how does the size of that sector then compare to things like manufacturing or finance? Is it pretty large as a percentage of our regional economic output?
Well, it accounts for roughly 17% of our gross regional product. Financial services is about that size, manufacturing slightly smaller, professional and business services. So it is among our largest industry.
Well, and for people who wonder if all this is fly-by-night and if this is going to go away the same way our industrial-based economy did 30 years ago, should there be reason to expect that not only is it here to stay, but this opportunity is going to grow in the future?
Oh, absolutely. As we've seen, this is not just something that happened when the first Marcellus well was dug in 2004. We've had this century-old tradition that goes back to when the first oil well was sunk here back in the 1850s, to Westinghouse electrifying the nation and commercializing nuclear power, to what we're seeing today with our broad-based portfolio.
And it's exciting. A lot to look forward to here in the Pittsburgh region. Jim Futrell from the Allegheny Conference. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And next up, energizing communities by investing in innovation, a new initiative in our region that's attracted federal attention and funding. Stay with us.